He's had a front row seat to over 50 years of American history.
I've seen my role through life as trying to be an honest broker of information.
Legendary newsman Dan Rather has a message of hope.
Things that unite us are much more plentiful and much more important than the things that divide us.
Plus, from the high of making thousands selling crack to the low of becoming addicted to heroin.
All the money I had made, I just started spending it all on drugs.
Find out what happens when this addict and dealer makes a deal with God on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. Chick-fil-A is known for its friendly customer service, and their website boasts a quote from founder Truett Cathy saying, "We should be about more than just selling chicken. We should be a part of our customers' lives and the communities in which we serve."
Well, Kathy would have been proud of a San Antonio location. Recently, Fallon Griffin began labor and on the way to the hospital dropped off their 2 daughters with a family friend whom they met in the Chick-fil-A parking lot. Fallon needed to use the restroom and said she couldn't wait. And although the store was closed, the couple banged on the door and the staff allowed them in. Well, while she was in the restroom, Fallon realized she was about to deliver the baby. So Robert Griffin, dad, became doctor.
We're going to do something great, but we're going to do it right here, and we're going to do it right now.
And I had no hesitation.
I stopped her at her shoulders because I saw what looked to be like a white collar around her neck, and it was the cord had been wrapped around her neck twice. I delivered her at 10:30.
So strange to me to hear, sorry.
I'm gonna say
my husband delivered my baby.
Does he get paid for that? I don't know.
There's no hazard pay for that.
Yeah. The couple named the baby Gracelyn, and Chick-fil-A has promised little Gracelyn her first job when she's old enough and free Chick-fil-A for life. The mother and the baby are healthy and they're doing great. Boy, that's one for the baby book.
Yeah, they have a story for the ages.
Yeah, that is the truth. Go, Dad. I love the way he just kind of stepped up and said, we're going to do this and we're going to do it right.
I wonder if she's going to get teased. Yeah. You were born in a bathroom.
Yeah, only you.
Tune in later. 10 years from now, we'll know. Well, just 14 months ago, minor league pitcher Daniel Ponce de Leon was fighting to make the big leagues. He also found himself fighting for his life after taking a line drive to the head in a AAA game.
Well, Ponce de Leon was rushed to the hospital for emergency brain surgery, where he spent 6 weeks. However, last week, he made his major league debut for the St. Louis Cardinals. He pitched 7 innings without giving up a hit. Ponce de Leon is a Christian who cites Psalm 27:1 on his Twitter bio. "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" After the game, he spoke with ESPN about his traumatic injury and miraculous return.
That day changed my life for the fact that I am able to become a better Christian than what I ever was, and allowed me to spend a lot more time in the Word and share my faith.
Where's that courage and toughness come from, do you think? That's not normal, my man.
It's definitely not me. It's definitely the faith in God, that He has His plan for me, and I'm here writing it out.
Well, I like that. I'm here riding it out.
You look at this, and the number of major leaguers who have lost their careers because of head injuries, and you just, talk about a miracle. He's not just back, but he pitched 7 shutout innings. No-hit innings. And you just kind of go, okay.
Yes, exactly.
You hit me with a line drive. I'm not sure I'm walking back out on the field. But
well, he might not have had things gone differently. Yeah, it was serious.
Well, William was speaking sentences by the age of 11 months. And then he was reading and writing by age 2. And get this, now he's graduating from St. Petersburg College at only 11 years old.
William graduated with an associate's degree, but has much loftier goals, and he has plenty of time to work it all out. His dad says William is a blessing.
He has taught us as much as we taught him. And thank God for the internet. God bless us with an extraordinary child, and we are very, very proud of him.
I want to be an astrophysicist. To be honest, space is just pretty cool. But also, I want to prove to the world that God does exist through science.
Well, that's a lofty goal.
It is.
A lot of people have tried that, and it's a little harder than just But maybe
he may be the one.
You know, being able to read and write at age 2, that's pretty hard too. Well, Dan Rather's big break came in 1961. He was a reporter when a hurricane was bearing down on Texas. His story about the oncoming storm convinced hundreds of thousands of people to evacuate their homes, and countless lives were saved. Well, since then, Rather has been both folksy, but he certainly also has been controversial. And recently, the CBS anchor sat down with Scott Ross to talk about his career and what unites us as Americans.
After decades as a CBS field reporter, Dan Rather took over the CBS Evening News anchor desk in 1981 from retiring Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America. Rather held that post for 24 years. During his storied career, spanning more than 60 years, Rather reported on nearly every headline event. Now, at 86, he offers news analysis and commentary on social media. I talked with the legendary newsman about his new book. 6 decades. That's a long time, Doctor.
That's a long time. Well, I've been very lucky and mightily blessed.
Yeah, I put down here you're a chronicler of the times. And the times keep changing, you know, but you're keeping up with it. That's the interesting thing.
I've seen my role through life as trying to be an honest broker of information.
You're all over Facebook. You're sort of a patriarch to the baby boomers, the millennials, and here you sit.
Well, it's true. One, this is proof positive that miracles still happen. And the second is, I have no idea why this has happened, but I am very grateful for it. If there's any reason for whatever success I've had on social media, I think it's because that this is a tumultuous time, and there are many young people who are afraid. What I have to offer, about the only thing I have to offer is, yes, I've lived a fairly long time. I have some experience, and I do try to put things in historical context and perspective when I can, and to be a steady, reliable voice. That's what I'm trying to do.
Though our country is deeply polarized, Rather recently penned What Unites Us. The book is a series of reflective essays on the values that have shaped our national character. His views challenge readers on the left, right, and center of the political spectrum. But as I found, there's a lot of common ground. You hooked me from chapter 1. What motivated you to write it?
There's so many people talking about what divides us in the country. And, you know, within me, deep somewhere in my id, is such a strong belief that what unites us, the things that unite us, are much more plentiful and much more important than the things that divide us. It's not that we don't have problems. We have problems, and we have differences of opinion. But there are certain core values of the country, which have been our core values ever since the founding of the country.
This was a strong statement on your part. Humility. If we lose that, we risk losing everything.
Absolutely. Because humility is at the very core of patriotism. It's one of the things that separates patriotism from nationalism. Having said there's some overlap, but the spirit of patriotism is, I love my country, and to the point that I'm literally prepared to die for my country. But I recognize that my country needs to improve, that we can all improve. So humility is the core of patriotism, where nationalism tends to be a breast-beating, we're the greatest as ever been, the greatest now. Right, and there are dangers in nationalism, and I won't give you my full blast on this, but I think it's so important right now.
Seems to me to be rooted in pride in many ways, the wrong kind of pride. Another one of your topics, service. Service could almost be an antidote to pride.
There's a great and possibly decisive battle going on in the country for the soul of the country. And I'm not talking about by some political ideology, but I'm talking about our soul has always been closely identified with service. Service to others, service to the community, service to country. This is what has made us the United States of America. That I personally believe in mandatory national service of some kind. I think it ought to include the military, but not be limited to that. teach school in a poor neighborhood or go overseas with the Peace Corps or something like that. But this idea of service, as I say, has gone a little out of fashion, and I think we should be worried about that.
That's an interesting prospect. Now, here's a charged word. We should neither forget nor be paralyzed by our prior national sins. You don't hear that word anymore. Why did you choose to use that?
Well, first of all, you're right. It's gone a little out of fashion to talk about it. Because it's a strong word and it's applicable. That we had the sin of slavery.
Right.
And it took us a long time to overcome that. And we're still in the process of doing penance, if you will, for the time in slavery. That, yes, we have nationally, as a country, as a society, committed sins. But at least you and I, as Christians, believe in redemption.
That's right. And repentance was a word I wrote down. That's because I know many people who have repented of those historic sins of this nation. Do you think your book's going to sell to the mid-America between the two coasts?
Well, I'm happy to say that I already have enough evidence that it has. It's funny with a book that you write it and you put it out there, it's in the arena, you have no idea what it's going to do. I'd love to hear from anybody who reads it.
I read this last night. It's a proverb from the book of Ecclesiastes. It describes you. How wonderful to be wise, to analyze and interpret things.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm unworthy of that, but as the saying goes, from your mouth to God's ear, that I could become that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very much. I really appreciate it.
One of the newscasters of America to take over from Walter Cronkite. Those were very big shoes to fill. Well, coming up, how one animated program is helping change lives all around the world. That's next, right after this. Well, one of our goals at CBN is to take Superbook around the world. And after we showed the series in Ecuador, one boy gave his life to Christ. And it answered the prayers of his father as well.
Derek struggled after his mom remarried. He made things as difficult as possible for his stepdad, Raymond.
I thought that my mom loved him more than she loved me. I never obeyed him because I didn't want him there.
He said, I don't need to listen to you because you're not my dad.
I wanted them to fight so they would separate. I wanted him to disappear.
I asked God, why does he act this way? Everything I do it for him.
One day, Derek attended an Orphans Promise program run by a church partner in Ecuador. There, he began to watch CBN's Superbook.
I loved the episode about Moses, where he told Pharaoh to let my people go.
Derek learned something else about Moses.
I learned he had another family, just like me.
That same day, Derek prayed with his teacher.
After the video, they said, would you like to pray to receive Jesus? I said, yes. Lord, I receive you as my King and my Savior. My life changed. I'm no longer mean to my stepdad.
My heart was full of joy when he called me dad for the first time.
I want to say thanks for Superbook. Your stories have changed my life.
And you can be a part of changing lives. That's what these stories do. It's amazing what happens when children hear the stories of the Bible. And in Superbook, when Bible characters are talking, they're talking directly from the Bible. We use the verses of the Bible for the dialogue in the story. If you want to be a part of it, all you have to do is join the Superbook Club. And for a gift of $25 or more, we'll send you the latest episode. We've got Superbook Explorer, which actually includes 2 episodes on it, Naaman and the Servant Girl, and then Lazarus, as well as a lot of the archaeology that goes into the series and the theology of the series. It's a wonderful teaching tool for children and for adults, too. So if you'd like to be a part of it, we're up to over 50 languages now, and we're broadcasting around the world. And your gift will go into the production cost, the translation cost, the distribution cost, to get this wonderful series to as many children as possible When they hear the good news, they respond to the good news, and you can be a part of it. So if that's you, give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Just say, I want to join the Superbook Club. Terry?
Well, coming up, the tables turn on a cocaine pusher when he becomes addicted to heroin.
Every waking moment, you're thinking, who to call, how can I get it, where can I get it from? Because I would do any means to get money to support my heroin habit.
See how this man ends up broke, homeless, and living in a park where he receives a miracle. Don't go away, we'll be back in a moment. Derek Nakata lived the high life in Honolulu, supplying all the nightclubs with cocaine. He made around $35,000 a week until he started using the very drug that he was selling. Before long, Derek had moved on to heroin, and soon he was broke, he was homeless, and living in a park.
I started growing weed and I started selling weed, and I can remember in high school, I made like $220 a day just going to school and selling bags of weed.
Derek Nakata of Honolulu, Hawaii started smoking marijuana in the 6th grade. By the time he was in high school, he had turned his recreational drug use into a profitable business. In his 20s, he realized he could make even more money distributing cocaine.
The pearl surfers that was coming from Brazil, Peru, all those guys, they were bringing in coke, and I would supply all the nightclubs with coke. I'd drive in twice a night, selling ounces of coke, maybe 8 ounces in one night. I was making about $35,000 a week just selling coke.
Derek soon became dependent on the very drug he was selling.
That's when I realized I wasn't in control. When I started using my product and when I started actually smoking coke, all the money I had made, I just started just spending it all on drugs. The drug was controlling me.
Eventually, he dropped his crack addiction for heroin.
I could see the desperation that I was going through because of this drug. Every waking moment, you're thinking, who to call, how can I get it, where can I get it from? I felt there was a little darkness in my soul. Like I was not the same person I was because I would do any means to get money to support my heroin habit.
When he tried to stop using, Derek felt powerless.
I remember telling myself it'd be better if I just died. It'd be a lot easier if I just died because the pain was so great. You couldn't sleep. I was throwing up. My eyes were tearing. I was just suffering. And I thought if I died, that would be a lot easier.
Desperate to be free from heroin, Derek tried something he'd never done before. He prayed to the only one he believed could help.
I just cried out to God and I said, God, if you could break my chain of addiction, I'll serve you the rest of my life. I don't know what that meant. I didn't have a relationship with God, but I was pleading with God that I was making a deal. Hey, if you could take this away, man, I would serve you the rest of my life.
The beginning of the answer to his prayer came 3 days later, when he was arrested while buying heroin. Derek spent the next 2 months in jail.
It detoxed me. They gave me a medication to take a little bit of the withdrawals, but you still have effects, but it's not as bad.
When he was released, Derek was broke, homeless, and living in a park in Hawaii. A local pastor who often brought food to the homeless told Derek about the love of Jesus.
I remember one day that the pastor didn't bring food. This is when God came so real to me. I cried out to God. I said, God, if you're real, bring us some food. And lo and behold, 10 minutes after that, this couple was walking towards us with foil pans. I didn't know what it was. So 5 of us sitting there, and then this young lady and this guy said, hey, we just got married. and we had all this extra food, and we thought we'd bring it to you guys. And that's when I thought, oh, wow, God, you're real. I mean, I had no doubt right there. God, you answered me. And that's when my relationship with him became real.
Derek gave his life to Jesus. He soon realized that God had answered all of his prayers.
And it was early morning, and you had to take down your tent because the police said, hey, you can sleep here, but take down your tent in the morning. And I remember it was sun just rising. I stepped out, the birds were chirping, life was just beginning. The sun was coming up, and I realized I didn't have to hustle to get well anymore because God had made me well. He broke in my chains, and that's when I realized God kept his promise, and he delivered me from bondage to my addiction. And that's when I realized, okay, God, I'll serve you.
He began ministering to the homeless community in Hawaii with a pastor and was eventually asked to join the church staff. He says he's thankful that the Lord heard his prayer and changed his life.
He's a God of restoration. He's a God of redemption. He's a God that wants you to have a relationship with him. I never felt so much satisfaction in my soul that, you know, it's so rewarding in my soul. Once you have experienced the hand of God and be touched by him, it's just something you can't explain. It's amazing. God is amazing.
It is amazing to experience a touch from the hand of God. What's truly amazing is when you have been in bondage to something and Jesus Christ sets you free. Sets you free with hope for the future, with intention, with purpose in your life. You know, one of the things that Derek said in his story was that God set him free from the chain of his addictions. He was addicted to many things over a window of time, and all of those things, like chains, wrapped themselves around him until he didn't even know who he was anymore. That's what addiction will do. It robs you of your identity. It robs you of your mind, of the ability to make choices and decisions in your life. You know, he was so clear in all of that. He knew and could see what was happening to him, but he was helpless to change it. Sin takes us further than we ever think we would go, costs us more than we ever intended to pay, and it keeps us there longer than we ever thought we'd stay. But Jesus comes right into the midst of that and sets us free. In fact, he said, I came to set the captives free. Listen, today, if you're watching this story and you have an addiction going on in your life, it doesn't have to be heroin, it doesn't have to be cocaine. It can be many things. It can be alcohol, it can be pornography. Jesus came to set you free. You can't do it by yourself. Did you get that in Derek's story? No matter how well-intentioned, no matter how aware you are, I mean, how well-intentioned are all of us on a regular basis? Tomorrow I'm going to start doing this. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to do that. And it doesn't get done. We need a Savior. And Jesus, 2,000 years ago, set you free. So today, are you ready to tap into that? Are you ready to say, Jesus, I receive that you died for me, for my sin, that the price you paid was to set me free, and today I receive that. And I'm asking you to forgive the sins that I've committed. They are many. And then tell him what they are. You need to be aware of where you've fallen so that you can understand how graciously and mercifully and lovingly he lifts you out of the pit and sets your feet on a rock. Give him your life today. He specializes in resurrections. It doesn't matter how far gone you are, how many mistakes you've made. Ask him today to be the Savior of your soul, the Lord of your life, the Redeemer of what's been lost. He's waiting for you to ask. Our lines are toll-free if you want to pray with someone. 1-800-700-7000. Call now. Gordon?
Well, we leave you with this word from the Apostle Paul. You find it in 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace always, in every way. The Lord be with you all. For Terry, for me, for all of us here, God bless you, and may you enjoy his peace.